Good everyone. I hope you guys have an amazing day. So what I'm going to do today, I will talk about the flow changes that's expected as a part of summer 2023. Some exciting changes you might see, right? The first one I wanted to mention is a flow integration. I'm not sure if you guys have heard about MuleSoft Composer. So they're bringing the MuleSoft Composer within the Salesforce. So it's like a managed package you can install, and MuleSoft Composer in a nutshell, where you can integrate your Salesforce with external system, right? So if you're not sure about MuleSoft Composer, I will just highly encourage you to have a look at the MuleSoft documentation. I will do the demo this year, later this year. So it's an exciting piece of technology. So I'm really excited to showcase that, but not today, right? So I just wanted to mention, right, what all is expected as a part of this change. So MuleSoft is Composer is one, right? And there is one exciting. Uh, Sorry, I just opened too many screens. My apologies. Okay, so bring external data to Flow Builder. So you might have heard the discussion, perhaps few people talking about an HTTP component you can drag and drop to the Flow canvas and using which you can connect to external API, right? Pretty simple. I sometimes wonder, right? We have external service which does the same. We have Omni Studio data, integration procedure, which can talks to external API and bring you the data back in the form of a JSON. Now, I sometimes wonder what's the need for this HTTP callout to begin with, because I don't know. Uh, to be honest, right? I mean, if you really wanted to talk to an external API using Flow, you can use external service. It does the job pretty well. So I haven't had a chance to play around with it. So when I want to play around with it, my main concern will be um, the benchmark, right? The performance benchmark. Yeah, these are. I mean, I agree that I appreciate the fact that they wanted to make flows more robust and wanted to give more opportunity to admins to build integration, which is great. Now, the problem I have, right, is the benchmark, right? I wanted a metrics where they show, okay, this is external service metrics. This is using Apex metrics, like using invocable Apex, and this is using HTTP component. And can it handle large data volume, right? That these are the things I look for when I see a new functionality. I'm a developer at the same time, and I'm a technical architect as well. So I have to use both hats at this time, to understand, pros and cons, performance versus, convenience, right? These are things matters when it comes to when you're dealing with a large data volume. Build screen with reactive components. So this is very interesting, right? So think about a scenario: you have a component on screen, right? You change something, and the response get propagated to other components on the screen. That's exactly what it's talking about. Then we have use the screen in real time using formula. So it's like you can work with supported formula function. You can configure a screen component to perform real time formula calculation. So when a flow detects a change, it will recalculate and updates the value of the screen component. So you can trigger, you can control the flow screen component value and even trigger the recalculation based on the formula function. And log, so you can log event, sorry, log email sent with 10 actions. So you can pretty much, let me open this one for you. Ah, it's taking a while. And, excuse me. So if you scroll down, you see you can actually log email on send. You can do this. Pretty cool, right? The same goes for the email template. You can send an email template ID. Come on. Come on. Here we go. Right. So this one, right? Oh, no, not this one. Sorry. There you go. Right, this one. You can now send an template ID. Cool. Get cloud records from, right? You can get the records from search and display. This is just like it. I think they've added a tick box where you can now search and display data table in the screen flow. Um, I think I should do hands-on on all of this stuff. Eventually, I'll do that for you guys. Yeah, this is the one they're talking about. Um, so this is a lot of things, right? Provide users a list of choice. So that's pretty cool. Use security center object and flows, get visibility error during the flow runtime. So what happens is that, right? So if something goes wrong, right? If a field has an error, visibility error in your flow, right? The flow will actually stop running and presents an error message rather than keep on running and without giving an error message. If you have a field visibility error, okay. So get improved accessibility with the new element color. This is nice to have. I don't think so it's added any value to me from an architect perspective. Um, get more element in a flow builder canvas. It's like adding a more elements. You can view more element. That's exactly what's here, right? You can view more element in the canvas. You can pretty much use this one too, right? Now look at this flow for a second, right? Let's talk about something else for a second. If you're a flow developer, let's assume you build flows, right? Can you spot a problem in this flow, right? So you got a flow trigger, record trigger. It's just a if condition. There's technology, banking, nonprofit, and do create stuff, right? Right. So for me, right? So if someone sends to me this flow, in a code review, I'm afraid this will not pass the code review. The reason being, this flow violates the first solid principle, right? Single responsibility principle, right? The flow should do one and only thing, right? Here, you're creating a case, you're creating a task, um, you're creating I've seen opportunity, creating an opportunity. So many things in a single flow, right? It violates that damn principle. Um, so, you know, it shouldn't be it should be the task should be subdivided, right? It should be given to a subflow. So I'm not impressed that Salesforce actually put this screenshot, right? Because Salesforce should have thought about it. I'm not making fuss, but I'm just saying if they wanted to set a good example, right, for the people to follow, they should start demonstrating that this is not a good flow example. I understand that they wanted to give an example, right? But still, right? From a, I think look at it from an architect perspective, and from a code quality perspective, this doesn't fit the standard. I'm afraid. And you won't believe, last year, I actually end up in tidying up so many flows, right? I eventually got tired of it because there are lots of flow spin, right? People, they've hired a lot of functional consultants to do this stuff, and no offense to any functional consultant, but sometimes the kind of flow they ride, right, at times makes me wonder, nah, I don't want them in my team. I'm pretty blunt guy in many aspects, and so in my current team, right, we don't have much functional guys. We have only tech guys, architects, get the stuff done. Functional consultants, we have business analysts, right? They don't necessarily need to be from a Salesforce space. It could be from from an SAP. It doesn't matter as long as they understand the requirement. That's all matters, right? Rest we build it, and so that's one of the reasons why, at least in my team, we prefer not to get functional guys. We get technical architects, tech lead developers, someone who knows GitHub, how to use the Git commands, because we do everything with the Visual Studio Code, and our pipeline is no, we don't use that gear shit. Sorry, what's that called? Gear set, not gear set. Sorry, chain set. The gear set is really good. My apologies. Gear set is really good. The chain set I was talking about, right? The Salesforce. I've used gear set. I mean, it's pretty impressive piece of technology. So my apologies. I didn't mean to use the word gear set. Gear set is really good, and I'm pretty impressed with that. But I'm talking about the chain set, right? The chain set, we don't use chain set. So we normally use CI/CD to deploy using a package. And what I've seen, it could be an exception, right? The functional people I worked with, I mean, could be an exception, like I said, they struggle with the Git. And it's a hell of time wastage for me to explain to, hey, this is how Git works, this is how we cherry pick the stuff, this is how we pull the stuff. This instead, no, right, we don't want functional in our team. So now we don't have it, so we don't have an issue. People get the stuff done, you know, and we have testers who test the stuff. It's pretty simple. That's the way I like. You know, no offense, right? But I prefer not to hire functional people in my team, right? If I want to hire a functional consultant, it doesn't matter. I would prefer a technology agnostic. I will even hire someone who has never seen Salesforce before, as long as they are experienced business analyst, right? So because Salesforce, it's the fault. It's not the fault of functional consultant. Don't take me wrong. It's the fault of Salesforce. They sell Salesforce as a local tool. That's the whole crux of the problem, right? So, and that's exactly what I often struggle with. Why are they selling it as a local tool? Yes, you do flows, but Salesforce flows need a right design pattern to build it, right? We need to build solutions so it's maintainable and sustainable, right? When the data changes, when the data volume changes. So that's one thing I'm very, yeah. So that's personal. That's my opinion, right? I mean, and the place where I worked, we don't let the functional guys to get into the org to do the change request. They can do like page layout stuff, which I really don't like to do it. So those kind of stuff I don't mind functional guys to do it, but and even I have seen some of the functional guys mucking up the security stuff, right? And people go and take security certification, that application architect one. And then you ask them to implement, can you build a right security model, right? With permission set, permission groups, and make everything private and then build the stuff. I've seen this struggle and I wonder what the use of this damn cert then. So I said, don't bother, I get the tech guy to do it. And you'd be surprised. I never had any issue involving a programmer. Even I've seen a programmer from a Java background, .NET background, coming to the Salesforce, picking up the technology way faster than a functional guy does. So yeah, I'm not biased, but I'm telling based on my observation. If people can't do the job, they shouldn't be doing it, right? They should go and do something else. Look, I run a company, right? If people can't perform, I give them three chance, four chance, they're out. There is no negotiation on that whatsoever. This is New Zealand. This is how it works, right? Yeah, I know. I mean, perhaps in the United States. United States is cutthroat. Their competition is way. I mean, in America, if you do mistakes, you're out straight away. I mean, Americans don't have patience. At least in New Zealand, we Kiwis, we try to be, okay, let's give this bugger another chance. Right? Okay, let this guy another chance. Right? Three chance is a pretty good chance, right? If you can't improve using the three chance, I'm afraid you won't improve in the fourth. So it's better to, let the person go, let them do something else, which they're passionate about. Yeah, that's fair, right? So and so yeah, that's all I wanted to say. I'm sorry, I didn't want to rant, but flow is something I've I'm sick and tired of tidying up people mess in an org. I've been doing for the past 1 year, and it's not fun. You know, if people have taken a little bit pride in the work, tiny bit, and paid attention to a bit of design pattern, took extra care to read about it, try to take it as like a craft rather than just doing the freaking job, then we would have a better flows everywhere. So yeah, sorry for the rant, but that's pretty much it. So yeah, if you're excited for this functionality, I think Salesforce is doing pretty good in at least in the flow side. I have no complaint to that. That being said, hope you guys have an amazing Monday. Adios.